Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Calling in from Butcher and Barrel, just waiting for Lyle to come in. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about aging. It is something that we've done before with both single malt and with meat at this point as well. If you recall, Lyle taking us through dry aging versus wet aging and just the implications of that. And the truth is, there's actually a kind of a direct correlation over to how things age when it comes to a cask as well. So once Lyle gets in, which is going to be in here in any second, here we go. We will dive right in. There we
Hello.
go.
How are we
Hello.
doing?
How are you?
Yeah, good. And you?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. I was just saying that we're going to be jumping into aging, but more specifically around like the warehousing aspect of it.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
we've
nice.
also done other things. I said, it's funny that we talked about wet aging and dry aging when it
Yeah.
comes to meat, because
Yeah.
there's actually quite a lot of kind of crossover within that as well.
And I guess we're
Um,
going to talk about wet aging when it comes to whiskey, yeah?
yeah, well, kind of.
Yeah.
No, no, kind of. I'm going to call it humidity versus
Right.
wet aging or
Yeah.
dry aging, and the fact that it's a liquid kind of sets us up to be wet aging throughout, right? I mean,
Right,
it's,
exactly, yeah.
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 So yeah, and apologies to everyone. I think it's been we had a 2-week hiatus, maybe. Was it
Yeah,
2
2
weeks?
weeks, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I ended up having visitors and doing other things. So we're back. Here we are. We'll be more frequent and consistent again.
Exactly, yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I thought we'd jump right in. As always, talking about this from the Scotch side through the lens of Highland Park and how Highland Park is producing whiskey. And
Yeah.
it's a really good example for today because we're using 2 different types of warehouse and we'll be able to speak about them. I mean, Lyle, you've been there. Can you remember and or describe from your memory what the building was like when you went into the warehouse itself? And what did it look like?
Very old, dark. It was semi-basement. It wasn't actually completely underground. It might not have even been basement, like semi-basement, but it kind of had that feel to it. You know what I mean? It had that.
That is perfect, right? So
Yeah.
this is a perfect description. It's a classic Dunnage warehouse. So
Yeah.
Dunnage, right? So ages ago, and this is what you saw at Highland Park, and
Yeah.
19 of our 23 warehouses are these Dunnage warehouses. They're like 1 to 2 stories high. Ours are just like super low to the ground, like
Yeah.
brick walls or like whatever clad walls they were. Little roof on the top, like a slate roof, because a lot of Highland Park you're seeing that, and then an earthen floor. So it feels like an unfinished basement. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
And then it was a series of casks. Can you remember how high they were stacked up on their sides?
I want to say 3.
You got it, 3.
Yeah.
That's it. Look at that memory.
There. I was just like,
We hadn't had a dram at that point, so there's no excuse for it. That's exactly it. It's stacked 3 high.
Yeah.
Now there's another level after this, which is a racked warehouse, which we also have, which is where they're lying on their side, but they're kind of like on pallets, if you like. So you can come in and kind of get a series of them out at a go, and it kind of really helps out. And then you've got the like super modern version. This is typically what you find in the majority of American warehouses, just because the volume that they can pump out as well on their continuous stills is going to be a palletized rack, a system where for us it's on its side, but for them it's going to be upright like this on these things, and then you can have them like stories and stuck in you, which is why then we're talking about like bourbon, and you have those certain bourbons just like, oh, this is picked from that special place in the warehouse. It's like, you've been to the Highland Park warehouses, you're like, I think it probably all feels the same in here. Like, I don't think that in the corner is very different from that spot over there. It's true. Like, having this unfinished earth floor low to the ground kind of leaves you with this high humidity because Orkney's wet, so this unfinished earth is letting out kind of water, humidity, moisture. There's not a massive temperature difference from the ground to the top of a Dunnage warehouse. Like, to give you an example, if you're in Kentucky, at the bottom of the warehouse, it could be like 50 to 60 degrees. Sorry, at the top, it could be 50 to 60 degrees. That would be crazy hot for the floor. And then at the very bottom, it could be like 18 to 21, which
right, wow.
is a massive difference. So for America, that's going to be 122, 140 at the top, and 59, 66 at the bottom. So yeah, if you're aging that cask there and you're aging that cask there, massively different.
Do they swap them around and things? I would imagine, or
so it's all like people do different things. There's different mentalities to this, right? So some companies do rotate them. Some people like that's a complete waste of time and money, because if you're going to be rotating all of these casks, you're never going to learn where the best locations are for making your casks. So that if this one spot produces exceptional whiskey, you'll never know because you're constantly rotating your casks. Whereas if you leave everything, you're going to have consistency, because at the end of the day, very small amounts are released as single casks, right? They're all being
right. So you're just going to blend it all together, kind of.
So today I'm drinking Twisted Tattoo from Highland Park. So this is like the very atypical Highland Park 16-year-old. 153 casks are Rioja casks, and then 70 casks are First Fill Ex Bourbon, and they're all blended together. This is not made from one cask, you know.
No.
So in the same way, when you're pulling from so many locations, at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is make it look and smell and taste the same every time. You just blend them in the right amounts, and there'll be consistency. So if you leave I think, I could be wrong, I'm not a bourbon expert, but I think more people are leaving them where they are, and then they can just make their blends as they do, but it gives you more choices. Like if you want to come out with a new product or a new, flavor profile and things like that, you can do that because you've not just merged everything into one by constantly rotating and changing the casks, right?
Yeah. I get you.
And the remarkable thing, especially in Kentucky, is that I don't know if it actually happens, but theoretically it's possible. If it's going to be really, really humid, there's already a lot of water in the air, osmosis, ethanol is going to escape more than water is going to escape.
Yeah.
If you go to the really high levels in the warehousing, say in Kentucky again, low humidity at the top, but still with a high temperature, it's possible that you're going to lose water faster than alcohol.
Than you will. Yeah.
And so the alcohol is going to kind of like not go up, but the water is going to go down. So byproduct, the alcohol for us is going to go up, or it's going to concentrate.
Yeah.
Highland Park, you saw it, super low lying. It's a low and slow location. Highland Park doesn't even have, in the height of summer and the height of winter, anywhere near the same drastic differences as that one warehouse in Kentucky from top to bottom, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's massively different. So it's like between 5 and 19 degrees year round, which is like 41 to 66 in America. It's nothing, absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And so we have this very low and slow process, as well as relatively high humidity, that actually encourages a little bit more alcohol to be lost than water, but it's a very gradual process. And again, I think, the angel share, when you're out in places like Kentucky, can be pushing 8% or getting higher. In Orkney, there's times that we pull single casks that are less than 1% a year. Like I heard Martin speaking about it, a single cask recently that was 11 years old. I know it went into cask around 69%, and its bottling strength was like 65. It's like, it only lost 4% angel share over the course of 11 years. In ABV. Obviously, it did lose more by volume, but by ABV, it had only gone down that much, which is nuts.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the wet aging, dry aging, right? If you're going to be wet aging in humidity, you're going to lose a little more alcohol than you perhaps would. And there's way more factors than this. This is like a over-the-top simplified version. But 19 of our warehouses are done in this really traditional Dunnage style. Sorry, my screen keeps going dark on me, so I can't see.
So does mine. That's why I keep wobbling. Yeah. Not having little tremors over here. Don't worry. Yeah. So.
Yeah. No. I know that it's a very hot day there for the UK, but earthquakes would really be a stretch. That something's up at that point. Yeah, and then of course I know that you've mentioned it before. Before we jumped on, of course, all of this aging is happening in casks as well. So the one other thing that's going to be happening, which does make a difference, and I'll wrap this up as to how it works for Highland Park and for Orkney really in general. The bigger the temperature fluctuations that you're going to find from day to night, your diurnal shift, and then your year-round temperature fluctuations, and like the humidity, the temperature changes, and the pressure changes, of course, are going to encourage, extraction. So it's going to go in and out. It's going to expand and then retract into the wood. As that happens, it's going to like change the way in which you lose or don't lose any alcohol and water. Same thing for if it's a big building with an airflow going through, it's going to sweep more of it out. If it's lower, tighter together, you might get loss of it. It's all of these teeny tiny things that could probably change.
Yeah.
Even if you're expecting the same thing anyway, but that's really like how it all comes and works together.
Right. Yeah, nice. So just jumping back to what you said, you might be covering this a little bit further on, but you said about the racking, they're on their sides. Is there any particular reason why we store them on the side? Is it for like contact on the side of the barrel, or?
It is exactly that.
Right.
I mean, originally it was traditional to do it that way, right? So just traditionally, that's the way you do it. It's on its side. You can push it and roll it onto this rack, and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
With things now, obviously we have way more technology to allow us to do all of the racking up high and things like this. But with that traditional dunnage, where it's on its side, a good pro, and you're exactly right, is that if you imagine it's on its side like this. Well, there always has to be something. Well, it's
Hello. There we go. We were just talking about the barrels being stacked on the sides, easy to store. Yeah. 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 Mm. Mm. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Just because you're losing that. Yeah. 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 Okay, nice, nice. Going back to bare bones, kind of. Yeah, nice, nice. Yeah, I remember it when we were there, and it was just one of those things where you do feel like you're stepping back in time, like that nothing would have changed for a very long period of time because it works so well. Like it's exactly what the brand is. Mm, mm, yeah, no, definitely, definitely. Um, let's just touch on because it is a business. Like when we spoke about my aging and things, there was like a little bit of waste on it. Let's just like, is there any waste? Because we're using a natural product to age it in, so it's gonna might fail at some times. Um, we haven't changed it, so technology hasn't come involved. Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, no, rather than yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, to yeah, nice. Yeah, but just put that into concept context for me. How many bottles come out of a, let's just say layman's terms, a cask? So so what's that, like nearly a quarter of a million bottles? Like, is that right? Yeah, someone do that for us. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, yeah. Mm. Yeah, yeah. Nice. That's cool, man. Yeah, nice, nice. Oh, great. Yeah, you too, dude. We'll see you next